Hi, everybody. This is Dave, with another episode of Inspiring Stories of Recovery. What I like to do is if you would like to subscribe and hear the whole podcast, today we have Jimmy from Discovery. Say hello, Jimmy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Jimmy's going to get into his story and talk about he's the Alumni Coordinator for the Discovery Institute. Institute, right? Do I
Yes,
have it right?
yes, sir.
Okay. And he's also in recovery. So today we're going to get down and listen to Jimmy and his stories. With no further ado, Jimmy, tell me about how things started out. How'd you grow up?
I was born in Philadelphia.
No birds.
Yeah. So I was born in Philadelphia. I'm 35 years old. My dad died before I was born. He
I'm
actually died.
sorry.
Yeah, he actually died in February of '89, in a car accident. And I was
Oh,
born
sorry.
in August of '89. So I never met my dad. So it was just always me, my mom, and my sister my whole life. My mom's a drug addict. My childhood was mostly poverty stricken, just seeing her do drugs, watching her have seizures from Xanax withdrawal, stuff of that nature. My sister's older than me. My sister's about 15 years older than me. So she would always have friends over. They'd be smoking weed, drinking until she moved out when she was about like 21. So partying and drinking and stuff. I've been seeing it since I was a little kid. It just always seemed normal to me. My mom taking me to Kensington, just stuff like that.
Jimmy, when did you start? What was your first high? Tell me about your first high. Take us there.
My first high, I started off with drinking. The
Hmm.
first time I ever drank, I was in fifth grade, and by this time, my mom, and my sister, we moved a bunch of times, and I moved in with my sister. My mom was no longer able to take care of me, so I moved in with my sister. But like I said, she's a little bit older, so I was in fifth grade hanging out with a bunch of 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds.
Right.
And
Wow.
yeah, so they got me drunk on Golden Slogger. These two guys, Joe, Mike, and Henry. They were just like 21-year-old guys just thinking it'd be cool to get a fifth grader drunk. And
Crazy.
yeah, but I just thought I was cool because I got to hang out with them, play video games and drink. And, it just progressively got worse. I would like sneak liquor, stuff like that. And then going into sixth grade is when I moved from Philadelphia to New Jersey. I reconnected with my mom. We moved to Linden, New Jersey, and I don't know, I thought it was just gonna be a new start to life. I thought that, my
How
mom
old
would
were me? How old were you when you moved?
going into sixth grade, whatever age that is, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. You were young,
Yeah,
and you're drinking, right?
yeah, I'm
Sixth grade.
drinking. I'm not drinking every day, but yeah, I'm drinking like whenever I could. They always had liquor in the house, so
Is your
I was.
mom still was your mom still using at the time when you moved back?
No, when I reconnected with my mom when we moved to New Jersey, she wasn't using. She was just what she was using. She was smoking weed, stuff like that, but she wasn't full blown like heroin addict like she was.
Jim, did you ever see bouts of sobriety or recovery with your mom? Did she ever try to get clean?
No, even still to this day, she still gets high. So no.
So you never were there any like? Do you remember growing up? Were there any family interventions or anything like that?
No, like I said, my family, I don't really know really anyone in my family except my mom and my sister. I have a brother as well, but when we were real young, he decided to leave. He was maybe only 16 years old and
Okay.
he just made a life for himself.
So it's all drugs all the time growing up. There's no break. You see the disease of addiction through your life. So Jimmy, you're sixth grade. Take me through. So you go to school. I guess school's tough for you because you're drinking and
Yeah, school is a little tough. I mean, meeting new people was hard for me, especially coming from Philadelphia. I was in like a suburban neighborhood at this time, so I felt a little awkward and out of place.
right. If you're a young kid with this dysfunctional, I guess it's a good word to use, growing up with the disease of addiction and already start using, and you go into this middle class or upper middle, however you want to put it,
Mhm.
neighbor, and here you are, you start to feel out like an outcast. Is that a fair assessment, Jim?
Yes, yes. I already started to feel like an outcast in fifth grade because I went to a different school district, which was the same, like middle class, but it wasn't like I was used to, like, lower class, like getting free lunch,
Right.
stuff like that.
So you
So,
feel pretty bad, huh, Jim?
yeah, I feel a little bit bad about myself. By this time, I'm already diagnosed with ADD. I'm on Ritalin. I'm in resource classes. So going into middle school in sixth grade, it already felt bad. And then, just being in resource classes made it even worse.
Jim, let me ask you. So take me through as you get into like high school and everything. The progression really starts.
Yeah, the progression starts in middle school. By the time I'm in like seventh, eighth grade, I'm basically drinking and smoking every day. I'm failing school. I had to do summer school in eighth grade. My behavior is just terrible. They're already threatening to kick me out of school. I'm getting caught smoking cigarettes, stuff like that. Excuse me. And then by ninth grade, I was already like on a I don't know, like a behavioral warning with Linden Public Schools about my behavior. And in the midst of all this, my mom's diagnosed with cancer. She was diagnosed
Oh,
with
right.
breast cancer. So it's just me and my mom. She's diagnosed with breast cancer. And, she starts doctor shopping. She has cancer, so they're basically giving her anything she wants. She's doing a lot of Xanax and Percocet, so I indulge in that as well. I start taking them. And, in ninth grade, I get kicked out of high school. I go to an alternative school in Westfield, New Jersey, and the progression just gets worse and worse. By this time, I'm just like doing Xanax and pills, Special K, Coke, anything I can really get my hands on. I'm going to school drunk and high, hungover. My mom's just always in blackouts. She's not really taking too much care of me. I'm waking myself up for school when I decide to go and stuff like that.
Jim, so you're in high school. Do you realize that you have the disease of addiction, or just because it's so normal with your mom growing up, you don't feel different? I mean, tell me about that, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed regular to me because of my household was just always filled with addiction. But I seen that I was different than my friends. Like they would like to drink on the weekends and they were able to stop. I would drink during the week. I was trying to smoke weed before school. Like that was just my number one priority. I couldn't stop once I got going. I didn't care about school or anything really. I just wanted to get high and drunk.
So, after and then you get out of high school. Do you graduate high school?
Yeah, I graduated high school.
And then what's the plan?
I graduated high school, and at this time, my best friend's dad owns a landscaping company. So I go straight to start working with him landscaping, and that's when I started like doing pills more often, and I got introduced to heroin. Yeah, I'm doing heroin. Yeah, I'm doing heroin basically every day.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course. Are you stealing, Jim?
No,
Robbery?
I'm not stealing. No robberies. I decided to sell drugs to
Okay.
afford my habit. So I'm working landscaping. I'm a full blown heroin addict. I become an IV heroin user like a month after starting heroin, and then as time goes on, my addiction gets worse. And I start selling heroin to support my habit. That was very short lived. I was selling heroin for maybe like a year, and my house gets raided. So my house gets raided. I get caught with like 150 bags of heroin,
In
and
New Jersey.
yeah, in New Jersey, right in Linden. So it got raided in December. I got caught with 150 bags of heroin. They let me go that day. And, I went right back to selling again. They came back again in April, and they raided my house again. This time I got caught with 50 Percocets, and I went to jail. I spent a year in jail. and then got out on 3 years probation.
Did you stay clean in jail, Jim, or did you use in jail?
No, I was in Logan Hall. It's in Newark. It is no longer Logan Hall, but it was Logan Hall at the time. And no, I didn't. I was smoking K2 in there and doing Xanax whenever my girlfriend would bring me in. She would smuggle me in drugs and cigarettes.
So there's no break in using. You go straight through. So you get out of jail. Tell me what happens.
Get out of jail. And then immediately I tried to stay clean off heroin for like maybe a month, but it really didn't work. I started drinking because I was on parole, so I started drinking to try to beat my test and this and that. And then shortly after, I go back to using heroin.
So the progression's back, the disease is back. It's just you're off to the races.
Yeah, so I turned the 3 years of probation into a huge nightmare.
Violations.
Yeah, I got a violation. For I went back to selling heroin again. Me and my mom. By this time, my mom knows I'm selling heroin and doing heroin, so it's out there because of the first raid. So me and my mom basically become using partners, and she would sell heroin during the day for me while I was landscaping, and then I would sell heroin at night when I got home from landscaping.
So, Jim, when you're in the system, does anybody ever say to you, or do you ever hear about any type of recovery, or is it just still no?
In Logan Hall, they did have meetings and
Did you go?
once in a while, but I never really listened. Like I said,
Right.
I couldn't stop. I never gave myself enough of a break to let the fog clear to like actually listen to anybody. But so I'm on probation. I go back to selling heroin, and my first time, I decided I went to a turning point. And I stayed for detox and left.
Turning Point is a treatment for people that don't know. Is it a treatment center?
Yes, it's a treatment center.
What is it? Inpatient?
Yeah, it's a detox with inpatient.
Why go there? Why go to treatment, Jim? What happened?
I was like all out of options. I never had no money by this time. Like I said, me and my mom were using partners. The hot water's cut off. We have no gas. Our cable's cut off. We're watching the same 3 DVDs over and over again. We're smoking cigarette butts. Like, it's just really bad at this time.
So you decide to go to this place. So you detox, what, 5 days, 7 days?
Yeah, 5 days. And then I went to residential and I left.
How long, Jim? How long were you in residential?
Maybe 3 days, something
Did you
like
hear
that.
anything or nothing?
No, still not really hearing anything. So then I get out. I'm still on probation, and what really did it for me, I sold heroin to this this guy, and he overdosed in my house. So I brought him
Did he die?
outside.
Did
No,
he die?
he didn't die. I brought him outside, and and called the ambulance. The ambulance came, but they saved him, but they still came back 2 days later and charged me with conspiracy to manufacture and intent to distribute.
So you're back in the system?
Yeah, so now I'm back in jail. I got violated for probation because of this. So now I'm all messed up, and I decided to take drug court. I guess this is where I start to actually hear a little something.
Yeah.
So they sent me to Integrity House for 6 months. There they had H&I. They had a lot of groups. I was forced there, so I really couldn't go nowhere. I'm still smoking K2 while I'm there as well.
Do you hear anything yet, Jim? Anything?
Yeah, I'm starting to hear now. Now I'm starting to hear.
What do you remember?
Like I need to go to meetings when I leave, give myself a chance and stuff like that.
Well, you're still getting high.
Yeah, but I'm still getting high.
So what happened?
I'm gone for like a whole 2 years because of this. I'm on drug court. I go to a 6-month program, a halfway house for 6 months, then Oxford houses. And this is where I start to go to meetings on a consistent basis. Because I'm in the Oxford houses, you have to go to meetings. I'm actually building a network and seeing people going to outside meetings for the first time ever.
Are you using or are you clean now?
I'm clean at this time.
And how do you feel when you're clean? I know it's probably tough. You have to follow the rules and everything. You can't violate. But how do you feel, Jim? being clean for the first time in a long time?
Yeah, I feel good. I was working. I was feeling good about myself, going to meetings, but I never really felt like I wanted to do it. I just felt like I have to do this just to like get drug court off my back. So I do the drug court. I'm in the Oxford House, and the day I get off drug court, the next day I do heroin. Next day I do heroin and I overdose. I overdosed in a basement apartment in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and the ambulance came. That was probably one of my first overdoses that I remember, and that speeds it up to maybe like around like within the last 10 years.
Okay. So tell
So,
me about that. You already heard the message of
mhm,
recovery. You've
yeah.
already been clean. You're going out again. Now, my own experience, Jim, and I don't know if you can relate to this. Once I heard about recovery and I was clean for a bit, and then I used it was different. Do you relate to that? Is that your story in any part or no?
No, not really. I mean, I feel like it was a little bit different, but not really. I've just always beat myself up so much, and just like I remember, one of my last time in treatment, going to my counselor and just asking her to let me leave because I just thought I was just gonna die a junkie loser. Like that's just
Right. I get it.
yeah, I had no hope. And I didn't know I was so scared of what the future holds, the unknown and stuff like that. This is something that I was comfortable with. So it's what I always ran to.
So yeah, so I get that. So tell me, let's go to the last run.
Okay, so my last run, well, it's within like the last 10 years. While I was at that Oxford house, I did meet a girl that was in a halfway house in Newark. So, I'm in the Oxford house. I'm smoking crack and doing heroin. They're starting to catch on to me. I'm out of character. I look like shit. So I decide to move. I asked the girl if I can move in with her, and she allows me to.
Not fate in heaven, Jim.
Yeah,
She's in a
yeah.
recovery house, and you're sounds like it's a perfect start. Go ahead.
Yeah. So she gets out of the halfway house. She moves back to Delray, New Jersey. It's near Camden. And I move in with her. Her and her parents. We move.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm already there with a habit and she's trying to do good. I just basically bring her down. I go to Camden a few times. I didn't like it. I just kept getting robbed and I just didn't like it. So I ended up going to Kensington. It's right there. It's right across the bridge. It only took me, 20, 25 minutes to get there. And that's where I would go. I would just go to Kensington. I would hang out there and just smoke crack and do heroin. Within the last 10 years, I've probably been to maybe like 20 times to rehab, and I could never stay. I would go to detox, leave. Maybe a couple days in residential, leave. I was only going to rehab when something drastic happened. In this last 10 years, I crashed a car into 5 parked cars. I crashed another car around a telephone pole. I crashed into a retaining wall with another car. And my last accident, there was 4 cars at a red light and I just smashed into all of them. These were all because of overdoses. I would just overdose behind the wheel. I had maybe about 27 overdoses that I could remember. In Kensington where ambulances came, in New Jersey at the house where ambulances came, and not including the ones that just I would overdose and just wake up or pass out and wake up.
So Jim, what about the last day?
My
Yeah, we talked before yesterday, I think, and you're telling me you're 3 years, coming up on 3 years sober. So tell me about that last day when you finally made a decision.
I don't remember the exact last day.
Right. Like that too.
But the decision was, I already knew about Discovery because I was here 3 times prior within the last 2 years. And it was the time I was coming home from work. I crashed my car at that red light into 4 other cars. So now I have no car. I have no money. And by this time, me and my girlfriend were dating for about 8 years and it was just extremely toxic. So I decided to go back to rehab again. And, I came to Discovery again because it's what I was familiar with. Like I said, I've been to plenty of rehabs, and this is the one that I was most comfortable with.
So you detox and discovery, and
Yeah.
then you go into treatment. What's it? Did you do 30 days?
Yeah, I detoxed at Discovery, and then I did about yeah, like 30 days. I think it was like 21 or something. I came August 6th and left September 9th.
And what's different when you get out, Jim? Do you go back to your mom? Where do you go?
No, see, at this time, I was always leaving treatment and going back to my girlfriend's house. We were codependent on each other. I knew she would always take me back. Even when I left for a few days and got high, I would just go back like nothing ever happened. So my counselor, Elizabeth, actually helped me link up with this place, Harbor Wellness. It's a PHP program. So that helped dramatically. I was able to, because like I said, I had no money, no nothing. They took me with no money. And for the first 5 weeks, I was able to actually just focus on myself and recovery.
And how'd you feel, Jim?
At first, everything felt uncomfortable. I felt like a little angry sometimes. I didn't know. I was just a ball of emotions, And yeah, I guess I was just more scared than anything of just like the unknown.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead. Don't worry.
but within that time, I was actually able to break up with that girl, which was a huge relief. And that's what really helped my recovery journey, because not being so codependent, and I knew once I broke up with her, like I said, my mom still uses, so I knew I was really gonna be on this journey by myself. Like, I don't have any safety net any longer. Like, once I break up with her, like, I really have to figure it out and move forward with life and recovery.
Okay, so that's a big decision, and that sounds like things are really starting to work out. So take me in the first year. Do you get a job?
Yeah, so the first year, like I said, I left September 6th. I'm focusing on treatment. It's a PHP program, so they would drive us to meetings. I'm building a network,
Wow.
around the Monmouth County area. It's actually going good. I'm giving myself a chance for the first time in my life. I actually landed a job, a really good job, doing heating and air condition on like trucks, carrier transit code. It's like
And where are you living, Jim?
a Keensburg.
I mean, do you get are you living yourself, or you living
No,
with
I'm
somebody?
still living at the Sober Living.
Okay. How long were you there total?
Maybe 2 years.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I'm there. I'm working as like a diesel mechanic, and things are going real well. I'm able to get another car. I actually paid off a bunch of surcharges that I had from all those careless and reckless drivings. All the points are coming off. I'm focusing on treatment, and I get a sponsor. I'm just doing everything that's suggested and told of me. I'm staying connected with Discovery. The old alumni coordinator, Sam, she would reach out. I would come back and do speaking commitments. Everything that people say to do.
Wow. That's amazing, Jim. And you're feeling great, huh?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good.
No word from the girlfriend. She's out of the picture.
Yeah, when I broke up with her, it was a big situation. She came by the house a few times. She almost got me kicked out of my sober living, and I ended up actually having to take her to the police station. So yeah, it was kind of messy, but I stayed firm, because there was other times I would break up with her, but I didn't stay as firm as I did this time, and I'm just glad that I was able to do it.
So, Jim, how do you get started at Discovery?
So how I get to started at Discovery is, like I said, I was always staying in contact with Discovery, the guys, coming back to speak. Last winter, not the one that just passed, December of 2023, I guess, I applied to be a tech here at Discovery.
And tell me about what it was like being a tech. Do you get to check?
Being a tech's good. You get to help the guys out. You get to be there, talk to the guys, and it made me feel good just coming back to see the guys and talk to them, let them know that I was once where they were, and I think it made them feel a little bit more comfortable.
So what are you working nights, Jim? I know, like on tech jobs, a lot of times people have to start at night. Were you working nights?
No, I was only working weekends and then some nights, because I did have my full-time job as a diesel mechanic.
Or you're giving back? How many meetings a week are you going to at this point? 3, 4?
At this point, yeah, like 3 or 4.
And you got a home group sponsor, you got the whole 9 yards going on.
Yeah.
And so what happens, Jim? You get the alumni job. You just apply or they ask you, how does that work?
Yeah, actually the old alumni coordinator. The cool thing about Discovery is they always try to hire in-house,
Right.
like they try to move techs into higher positions or like old clients into techs, stuff like that to just keep it in-house. So the old alumni coordinator just asked me, she was like, there's a job coming, I'm going to be going into marketing. Would you like to take on this job? And I applied for it. I went
So
through a few
now
interviews.
yeah, go ahead, Jim. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I did a few interviews and then I was able to get the job.
So, wow, that's pretty impressive. So tell me about how the job works. What do? You call people or you text people? How does it all work at Alumni Discovery?
So alumni at Discovery, while the clients are here, I do walk around, hang out, try to build bonds with guys while they're here. That way, when they do leave, they already know I'm familiar with them, and we already have a bond. Because my job is to stay in touch with guys, give them calls, make sure that they're staying on the right track, and try to plan like fun events for them. We just went bowling last month.
Nice.
We've been paintballing. We've been to New Jersey Devils games, stuff like that. Just try to be like a big brother. Talk to them if they need it. Help them with anything. We also do re-entry here at Discovery, so we help them get their birth certificates, socials, driver's license back. Help them with any fines. Try to get them legal services if need be. So a lot of guys will follow up with me on that if they're having trouble getting in touch with reentry, stuff of that nature.
Jim, so what do you think the biggest problem is? Like I used to have a Bucks County prison commitment, and I used to tell guys all the time, look, here's the deal. When you get out the first day, the problem is if you go left towards Kensington, most people do. So, but if you go right towards a meeting, you have a chance. What do you think the biggest trigger is why guys relapse in your experience, not just from your experience as a chronic relapser, but now that you have the job? What do you think the biggest issue is with guys?
Probably just the overwhelming, just being overwhelmed. A lot of guys, they go back into sober living, they get funding, and then you immediately have to start paying rent. It's really overwhelming. I've done it, and I left rehab with a job already in place and still fell a few $100s behind on rent, and now I'm trying to play catch up, still go to meetings, and it's really overwhelming. Like I said, the being scared of the unknown and just the comfortability.
What do you do during the day? You say you walk around, do you reach out like via phone and text? How do you connect with guys that leave and don't maybe not go to sober living or go to sober living? How do you stay in contact?
Well, when they leave here, like the day before they leave, I'll sit down with them and try to get general information from them. Their sobriety date, where they're going, if they have a good phone number on file, if that's the best number to reach them at, and what their plan is. Try to get an idea of what their plan is and talk to them about their plan, if they're confident about their plan or anything of that nature that I could try to help them with.
Yeah, well, from your story, what your story, and from what you do now, a lot of people seem to, what if I go to Discovery, I go through the program, and then I relapse, and I reach out to you? What can you do for me?
Yeah, well, that's another thing. As the day goes on, I do reach out to guys. I'm constantly calling guys. I have a work cell phone, so guys are constantly texting me, calling me. So if a guy calls and says he relapsed, I'll go to the director of admissions, see if he has any behavioral issues, if, in the past, because we chart everything. So I'll look and see if he had any behavioral issues and see how severe they were. Some just are too much that they might not be welcome back if they AMA too many times or things of that nature. And then I go to the director of admissions and tell them that they want to come back, and that's it. We actually have transportation for the guys, so a van will come and pick them up wherever they are as well. So
Right.
that's
So yeah,
tremendous.
so that's the thing. So what you're saying is there's always hope. So
Yes.
look, just reaching out to people, I get this podcast out. I try to get as many people. What's the best advice you can give somebody, Jimmy, that's struggling?
Just never give up. You never know when it's gonna be your time.
Okay. Well, what I like to do here is wrap it up here. But before I do, is there anything that you might want to say or to anybody? We're going to put contact information for you, Jim, on each clip and below this. So if somebody needs help and wants to reach out in New Jersey, they could call you and you'd be able to help them. Even if they're anywhere, give Jimmy a call. You can definitely guide somebody and talk to them, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I have a cell phone. There's the main line as well. Discover will always be here to try to help.
Perfect. All right, Jim, I really appreciate you doing it. You see, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So thanks again, and hold on 1 minute.